Welcome to the channel again, Mr. BKB here. Thank you so much for clicking and thank you so much for visiting. Yeah, so today it's a good day. It's one of the rare opportunities that I have to talk to an entrepreneur. Yeah, entrepreneurship is the backbone to any economy. Zambia has a lot of small-scale entrepreneurs who contribute something to the GDP. So today, let's listen to one of the entrepreneurs, Oliver, who will share with us his entrepreneurial journey. Check out Oliver. This is Oliver's shop. Let's check him out. Oliver, hi.
Fine, how are you, Mr. Panda?
Thank you so much. Oliver is an entrepreneur. He's an entrepreneur. He runs a business. He has something to share with us about entrepreneurship, the journey of a business person in Zambia.
Hello, good morning. My name is Oliver Mushamfwaya. I'm Chief Executive Officer of Smart Assets Enterprises. I'm actually humbled to be brought on the show and to explain a few things about entrepreneurship in Zambia. I don't know about the world, but in Zambia. Status, I've been running the business for over 5 years. I came out of employment to start something of my own, something that I would build, something that I would be proud of, probably maybe in the next 10 years. Initially when I started this journey, I thought it was a walk in the park, because looking at everyone else who had made it in business, I thought it would probably maybe take a year or so to build a business. But when I had gone into it, I came to discover that it was actually harder than I had expected. I figured I had to spend more time than I was spending when I was employed. When I was employed, I would work maybe from 7 to 16, but now I have to work from 6 maybe to 19, sometimes to 21, to improve on a few things in my business. And it's actually been working out bit by bit. We're climbing the ladder, and the ladder of success, and we're getting there. Challenges of entrepreneurship, first of all, the environment at times is not necessarily conducive. For example, you look at on the issue of let's say, for example, banks and giving you loans, even if you've got an idea, but as long as you don't have collateral, the bank wouldn't come in and help you out. Or they wouldn't give you the money to start up your business. And you look at everyone else that you look at and say, oh, maybe they might come in or they might lend a helping hand. It's an impossibility. So you have to look at your own resources. You have to come up with your own resources. Then secondly, in terms of government policies, I think there's too much to pay, even when registering a company, where maybe at a certain, I personally think at a certain age, a certain age, a youth reaches a certain age, the government is supposed to, encourage entrepreneurship. Because I believe, you look at countries like Ethiopia, most of them are thriving by entrepreneurship. So I'm looking at a situation where the government should look at a certain age where they should actually make it free for someone to register a company, have a company name, ZRA free, where some of these things are actually free. So that an upcoming entrepreneur can actually go into the field and, expand, employ on that level. But like as it is right now, you have to go to Accra, where you have to register your company, you have to pay money. You move from there, you go to ZRA, where you have to pay money. Then sometimes you use an agent, and the agent that you use, you also have to pay the agent. So at the end of the day, you discover that just on registration alone, you spend maybe 500 kwacha. And on top of that, you look at a situation where you need to find a place where you'll be operating from. If you're doing it online, you need to have a phone that you'll be using, a good phone with good camera, with good specs that you'll be using. So it comes to a point where you actually spend more money just on starting up than in the business itself. So on government policies, I think it's something that the government has to look at. Then on On the issue of when the business is up and running, would you employ a few people? Honesty is an issue that we have with employees. Most of the time, you find you employ someone, some steal money, some make their own business out of the business. In several occasions, I think I've been in a situation where I had lost a lot of sums of money, where people just, maybe they're working for you and they collect the money and they just disappear with it. So it's also an issue where when you lose everything, you have to start all over again. You start building your business again. It's one of those challenges. It's a risk that we've been taking, and personally I've been taking. But again, you can't do without employees. You can't do without people helping you, aiding you. Because you can't always be in a business. Like Brian Tracy says that if you run a business and you have to be constantly there 24 hours, then you cannot run a business. Because initially, let's say maybe you expand, you have 5-6 stores or so on. It's impossible for you to run all of them where you're present at all the 5 stores or so. So you need employees. Then on the issue of sometimes, like we have COVID times right now, where Corona has hit most of the countries, business is slow, and you don't have enough people coming in. So you look at where maybe like you're renting a shop, like the war establishment is right now, we're renting, and you have to pay rentals. It's not like the landlord is going to understand and say no because you have COVID. They also depend on these shops to actually earn a living, or rather put food on the table. So you still have to find other means of paying rentals. So that's, I think, a bit about the challenges, but there are more. It's different with every type of business that you go in. So you have different challenges. But on my part, I think those are one of maybe the top 3 or top 4 challenges that I face. Zambian market ideas. Zambia, I think, is a good place for business. You see most people coming in from all areas of the world, coming into Zambia and setting up their businesses, and their businesses are thriving. And usually maybe they pack up and go with a large sum of money. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is, yeah, Zambia is a good place for you to do business. Even personally, I think yesterday I had this discussion with a few people in the evening after I knocked off, and I was asked if I would actually agree to be given to be helped in a business here, or go abroad in America and start working somewhere. I said I would rather make it here than start going for holidays there, because I think this is Africa is ripe for business. Zambia is ripe for business, and I'm looking at a situation where from this I can go on to anything. I mean, I can literally create anything. There are certain things that have been done in the Western world that haven't been done here. Take for example Uber. We don't have the Uber. I mean, we have the equivalent of Uber, which is Ulendo, but I mean, it's not basically Uber. So there are certain things that have been done there that haven't been done here that we can do. And I think Zambia is very ripe for business. Apart from the copper, the mining, the emeralds, the gold, I think there's a lot that can be done. And I'm looking at exploring, or rather just going into all types of markets. For example, you look at the Lusaka Stock Exchange. You ask someone, I was speaking to a nurse a few days ago. I'm asking if she knows anything about the Lusaka Stock Exchange, and she says, what is that? And I'm wondering, this is someone who's a nurse, and I'm thinking, obviously, maybe she has an idea, but you look at the feedback, you know she has no idea. So I started telling her what it is and how it operates and how you can make profits of it. So the Lusaka Stock Exchange is also right. There are many people that are not buying shares. Only people that, maybe old people that have an idea but they don't even know how to utilize it properly. Yeah. So I look at a situation where, especially like our generation, I think 30 years and below, it's something to be looked at. So I think the Zambian market is very, very ripe for business. I wouldn't want to do business anywhere else. I would want to start from here, grow here, then maybe expand everywhere else. Room for expansion. There's enough room for expansion. Usually what limits, I think even on my part of like business, what has limited me as at now is usually I think funds, money. But expansion, room for expansion is there. Because if you take for example, I run this shop which is for mobile money, banks, insurance, and phone accessories, or rather, just let me just say gadgets. I have one now, but if I were to look at it, a lot of sports world actually put it up in Zambia. Probably, maybe it would be. I would want it to be. I don't know if this would be the right term. I want it to be a hallmark where I have it in each province. I have it in each state, in each town. I have something running up there, because I believe it's in a situation where people would be coming maybe from Kafue coming to Lusaka to buy a phone, or coming from Kafue coming to Lusaka to buy a laptop, and at the end of the day they still spend money coming from there to here, probably maybe about 50 or 100 kwacha. So instead of saving their gas money, saving their bus fare, saving their taxi fare, you bring up a shop near the home, which means they'll be able to buy whatever they want. There are small things like OTG cables, chargers, those things there, and they're unable to access them where they are. They have to go into town. So I think why not put it up everywhere? Kafio, you have one. Chilanga, you have one. Mateo, you have one, where you have literally everything that they need under one roof. So there is room for expansion, and as CEO of Smart Assets, we're still looking at how we're going to finance the expansion, but there's enough room for expansion. Access to capital and partnership. Truth be told, honestly, I'm not one for engaging into partnership. I have a vision that most people wouldn't manage to carry, or would think maybe I'm a bit cuckoo, I'm a bit crazy. But my vision is way too big, and I wouldn't want to lay it on someone who wouldn't actually, maybe balance my vision with his. I've discovered most people that I've come in contact with have a very, very low imagination. I don't know if that's actually right, but anyway, yeah. Very low in imagination, or their visions are not even quarter of what I think, or where, or basically where I want to be in the next maybe 10 or 15 years. So we have a different approach to the way we do things. I look at, like, I would say now, in last year January, I was in a booth. A booth is basically a metal shop, a small metal shop, where I was selling and doing my Airtel money. But I've moved to a shop, and from now, this was my plan, that this year I would move into a shop. No matter what happens, whether there was COVID, there was no COVID, I had to move into a shop. So I moved into a shop. That was last year December. So access to capital, like earlier stated, access to capital is quite hard, because banks don't give. There are very few people that will actually loan you the money, and when you look at, again, you go to loan sharks, which is a very, very bad idea. I think the best way you can go about it is just raising capital just through how much you are making. You make up a saving plan. If you're able to sell maybe about 100 kwacha a day, you save maybe a 20 kwacha every day, 20 kwacha every day for what you're planning on doing. If it's opening another store, you save. So probably you put up a time plan of maybe a year or so. By a year, maybe you have maybe 7,000 or close to 8,000. You try and invest in a new store. I think that's the best, because at the end of the day, no one is going to do a handout and say, okay, here's money and do this business, do that. It's highly impossible. You need to work hard on it. Personal lifestyle. Okay. I think mostly for me, like I had earlier stated, I'm up at 0.4. Usually 0.4 I'm up. 0.4, I mostly go through the Bible, then listen to gospel, then 5, I'm a student. I'm doing self-study. I'm studying I'm studying with Zambian Institute of Chartered Accountants. I'm studying accounts. So within 5 to 6, I go through. The accounts is not necessarily for employment, but for myself, for self-knowledge, where I'm able to know how things are supposed to be carried out, how things are supposed to be done. So I go through that. Then from 6, by 6, I have to be ready and I have to be at the shop. 6 to usually, sometimes if I'm a bit early, that should be 20. 20, I knock off. I'm usually home, like June now, in a blanket watching a movie, in a hot cup of coffee or something. Yeah, but anything hot. Yes, and I think that's mostly what I do. Then, oh yeah, and usually I sleep at 02. Yeah, 02, going through books, going through a few things just after the movie, trying to increase my knowledge about things, or trying to find out about things that I don't know. Opportunities for entrepreneurs, or advice to entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship is one of the best things that you could actually go into. For starters, like I said earlier on, you look at Ethiopia. I think 80% or 90% of the people there are entrepreneurs. They've invested in entrepreneurship. Even most of the people in government and so on, they're mostly into entrepreneurship. You look at Tanzania. Tanzania is the same thing. And I believe Zambia, it's about a time that we moved from where we're dependent on government employment, civil service rather, and private, or rather in general, white collar jobs. I think the money is out there. It's not necessarily in the offices, because at times you'll be there, you sort out a simple problem, you'll be able to make 1,000, and people are making maybe 1,000 too in a month, but you make it in a day. So I look at it where entrepreneurship is the way to go. And those that are already in employment, I look at it as a way of, you have to have something, a side hustle, something that is bringing you in money. It's not an everyday where you get paid, you discover that the money is not enough. You need fuel, you need what. So at the end of it, I look at it that entrepreneurship is the way to go. There are challenges, yes, but you can always overcome. There's nothing so hard. There's nothing too hard. You can handle the situation. Then on education and entrepreneurship, like I said earlier on, I'm actually studying, and I think for everyone that is in business, you need to study, you need to analyze, you should be able to analyze certain situations and certain business transactions. Let's say, for example, you're not learned and you're put in a room with Bill Gates. You're put in a room with Bill Gates. How are you able to talk, or how are you able to understand what he's saying, or how computers work, or how they're supposed to, connect, how you're supposed to do your business? There are just certain things, whether you're good at business or whether you've made millions, you need to be educated. If it's self-education, is actually the best. You do it for yourself. After accounts, I'm planning on going for law. I need to know how I'm able to protect my business, or how someone will be able to protect my business when they're in the legal department. I need to know some of those things. So education is key. Not just that you get employed, no, but education is key, even just to yourself. There are times that I go into books of physics, quantum physics, just for the fun of it. I want to know 2-3 things. So I believe education is a way to go, self-education. Thank you for inviting us to a YouTube channel, Mr. Banda, and I'll actually subscribe to this channel.